going down, no real pressure that you're going to get to the playoffs, you might just relax and play a little bit freer. If you get your centre forwards back, I think that's probably the key thing that I've seen over the, certainly in Division 1, teams that have got goal scorers. It's like that in any team in football, but more so it seems in Division 1. If you've got a regular goal scorer, then you've got a chance of being at the top of the league.
We're entering the kind of the final third of the season. I mean, beginning of March, I always thought in my head it's the beginning of the end of the season. Is that when the real pressure starts? And then how do you deal with that as a coach in terms of messaging to the players? Does the mindset change at all? It
depends what you're going for. You know, we've been involved in relegation scraps with both the teams that we were sort of manager and first team coach on. So, you know, that's a difficult situation because you're trying to keep everybody totally focused on the next game and not look too far forward. Whereas in other games, when we were at Charlton and we were comfortable, because basically I think we were always punching above our weight. The players gave so much, and by March they were absolutely shattered. So we had 2 or 3 seasons where we tailed off a little bit, not because the players had got any worse, it's just because they were so tired and we didn't have a big squad that we could rotate.
OK, more on today shortly. We will go to club news updates now, and let's start with ticketing news. Supporters are reminded the club are running its popular Bring Your Kids for a Quid initiative throughout February, meaning that all under 11 tickets are priced at just £1 each. After today, we've got one more home game to come this month, which is against MK Dons on Tuesday. So half term or not, get the family to the Valley, be part of the atmosphere here. Tickets can be purchased by heading to booking.cafc.co.uk. Streaming next, and supporters are reminded that today's game is only available to live stream outside of the UK and Ireland as per EFL broadcasting rules. You know the drill by now. As is the case with every Saturday 3 p.m. game this season, we can only live stream outside of England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, Jersey, Guernsey, the Isle of Man and the Republic of Ireland. Overseas fans, though, can purchase a match pass for today's game for just £10 by going to cafc.co.uk. On Tuesday, fans all over the world, including those in the UK, will be able to purchase a match pass for our fixture against MK Dons. Curbs and I will have midfielder Jake Forster-Caskey with us in the studio. We've had him before, Curbs, haven't we?
Yeah, very insightful.
Very. Miss him on the pitch big time, though. And as always, match passes are priced at just a tenner and can be purchased online by visiting cafc.co.uk. Now, Charlton's under-23s progressed into the last 16 of the Premier League Cup on Monday night by beating Norwich at Prince's Park. After falling behind early in the first half, Hadi Gandor levelled the scores after 36 minutes before 2 goals from Joel Powell secured the victory. And Anthony Hayes' side will find out the next round opponents in due course. And you have to say, I like this goal. Good pace, good strength. And good finish as well from Joel. Well, congratulations is in order for Elise Hughes, who's been named as the FA Women's Championship Player of the Month for January. Curbs, did you have a say in that?
No.
No,
I have a say in the Manager of the Month.
OK. Elise, who is one of 8 addicts currently away on international duty, scored against Lewis and Bristol City as Charlton went through the month of January unbeaten. So well done to you, Elise. And on the subject of Elise and her teammates, their unbeaten run now stands at 10 matches following their draw with Coventry United on Sunday. Lois Hucan broke the deadlock for the Addicts. And it went late on. We thought we were going to get the win, but Katie Wilkinson levelled the scores 2 minutes from time to ensure that the points were shared. Decent strike, you have to say. It was actually the first goal that Charlton have conceded in 882 minutes of competitive football. And that is some record. OK, it is Men's Health Awareness Day here at the Valley today, and myself, Curbs and Brownie all got PSA tested, didn't we?
Yep.
Was it all right?
Yeah, good.
Absolutely no problem from our side. Another man who's been tested at the Valley before is supporter Gary Spencer. He and Charlotte Richardson survived the elements to tell us all about it.
Thank you, Scott. I am delighted to be joined by Gary. And Gary, Charlton Athletic are hosting Men's Health Awareness Day today. It's an initiative the club has been running for a number of years now. It's a day that proved to be really significant for you on a personal level. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, in 2019 I was coming down to the ground, and I was sort of waylaid by some young ladies to point out that they were running the PSA testing that day. I took advantage of it, went in and had a PSA test done, and a couple of months later I got the result, and unfortunately my PSA level was up very high, and that started a whole process of going to the doctors, hospitals, and ultimately having radiotherapy for it.
And as part of the initiative today, men over the age of 45 are offered a PSA test. And we know from research and so on that sometimes men can be inclined to put it off or wait till another day. What would your message be to those people?
There's only one message, is never put it off. I frequent football grounds with lots of friends, and I try to fly the flag for PSA testing. Unfortunately, a lot of them were very nervous about it. And I've just been talking to a friend of mine before I've come down here, and he was saying how nervous he was of having a needle in his arm. It doesn't hurt, and it can save your life.
And sometimes with football we concentrate on 3 points and so on, but actually the significance that could come out of people going to get tested today, or even just knowing about the fact that PSA tests can save lives and make a massive difference, is really valuable.
So, it certainly is. And what's good about it is Charlton opened it up to both clubs. You know, back in 2019 we were playing Scunthorpe United, and we had their fans here. Today we've got Oxford fans here, and I understand the Oxford fans are taking advantage of what we're doing for them. And the other person I'd like to always remember was that Barry Kilby initially put funding into the pot for us and made it even easier for us to have tests.
And it built a foundation, and as I said earlier, the club hosts this day every season. How grateful are you for the fact that the football club takes this initiative, and also to individuals like Tracy Leeburn, who I know have been really influential behind the scenes?
Tracy's a wonderful girl, absolutely wonderful girl, and of course Carl Leeburn, Charlton idol. No, Tracy's really got hold of it. She's been running with it for some time now, and she's a brilliant, brilliant person. And you know, it is something the club have done. I owe a lot to the club now. You know, I've got a future, you know, and I might not have had that had I not had the PSA test done down here. Because I had no symptoms at all, you know, to indicate that I had a problem.
Well, Gary, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's fantastic to welcome you here to the Valley this afternoon, and to be reminded again of the importance of the PSA testing taking place at the Valley today. Back over to you, Scott.
Absolutely, Charlotte. Well done to you two for braving those elements. Boy, it was raining pretty heavily a little bit earlier. It's an amazing story, though, Curbs, isn't it? And just underlines how important it is.
Yeah, it is. Listen, men don't go to the doctors as much as they should do, and obviously with the pandemic, it's been a problem going to the doctors anyway. But we should be tested every year, and a simple blood test can save so many other things going on down the road. And like we just saw there, saved his life by having a blood test.
Yeah, incredible, Merv, isn't it? And
Well,
so important where we're at the age where, you know, we don't go to the doctors very often.
You're not at our age, Scott, don't worry about that.
Well,
That's very kind of you.
The thing is, though, like Mickey Hartford, who I play with at Birmingham, he's going through it now.
Yeah.
He's got prostate, he's going through all the treatments. And he had no symptoms, and he never got tested. And, you know, I know that Mickey's really been publicising it. So all the footballers, I know that the league managers and the PFA, you know, with the silver badge and everything else, they're trying to get it out there. And this week's been really good. It's been on the TV a lot.
It's been fantastic. So, yeah, anybody male over 45, please just get yourself tested. You never know what they could pick up. Right, Merv, you ready to go down memory lane? Yeah.
Go on then.
That's a nervous laugh.
It's not your West End days.
Well, it's not West Ham days, but we are going to start with 1987.
Yeah, we've heard of it.
Leeds.
Oh, no, that's
Remember?
not fair. That's not fair. Peter Shirtliff, yeah,
Shirley. And the tackle. Do we see the tackle?
We
as well?
won't see the tackle. It's a horrendous tackle from Shirty. But let's have a look at the goals, because you were playing for Leeds at that particular time, weren't you, in our famous playoff victory. Look, we've spoken about it a lot here on Charlton TV, and it was a big day for Charlton. But what was the thought from the Leeds camp at the time?
Well, we'd been... No, sorry, I'm just like sort of... No, not my fault. Definitely not my fault.
You've got to save that, surely.
I can't believe Shirley scored 2 goals to start with.
Absolutely.
From our point of view, we were absolutely gutted because... Oh, thank you.
Look at that picture.
Oh, no, that
So we're
says
just
it
going to
all.
hold that till kick-off.
Thank you. We were absolutely gutted. We'd been in the FA Cup semi-final against Sheffield Wednesday, and we're leading that, and ended up getting beat in that game. But we always thought, well, we're playing well, we're in the playoffs, we've got a chance, and to be fair, I thought over the 2 games we were arguably the better side, maybe. And then we go to Birmingham and 1-0 up, not long to go, and you think, well, yeah, just got to keep going, just got to keep going. And then Shirley pops up with 2 in the last, whatever it was. And I mean, I'll have the header because he can head it, but like the finish.
Unbelievable. Like Sergio Aguero
for a centre back. No, it was a tough dressing room after that, I've got to be honest.
I bet
Who's the manager, mate?
Billy Bremner.
Billy Bremner.
Wow. Did he go mad or was he?
No, Bill was very, very good.
Okay.
Very good. He understood, and he left it alone, to be honest.
Let's go a bit more positive now, shall we? Fast forward to 1998, and we're a Premier League club. You were a manager or had been a manager at Carlisle?
I'd been a manager at Carlisle, had got promoted, and then got sacked 6 games in. Mr. Knighton, thank you.
So even back then it was ruthless.
Yes.
So what did Curbs say to you?
Well, Curbs had actually rung me before Les came here when he first got the job, and that was an initial conversation that we had, but couldn't be progressed because of contractual problems. And then when Les said to Curbs that he was going back to the FA, I got a phone call, and it was absolute no-brainer. It was one of those. I'd jump. I was actually Everton goalkeeping coach at the time, and the chance to join Alan at possibly a Premiership club, because this was before the penalty shootout. Yeah. B, to join.
You wouldn't change your mind?
No, not at all. I'm not sure whether Richard Murray might have changed his mind. That was more the problem. And to come back down south, because I'm a southerner, my wife's a southerner. My mum was still alive at that time, so were my wife's sort of parents. And so the chance to come back after 13 years up in Leeds was too good to miss.
Curbs, you talked about why you went for Merv, and that's understandable. Already gone there, but give us a sense of the relationship about how it worked. You touched on it with Merv, but also there was Keith in there as well. Yeah. I mean, with the curly finger, bad cop. You're a manager, you must be a bad cop. Was Keith the only good cop?
He calmed everybody down. But Merv, obviously being a goalkeeper, I allowed him the free rein defensively. I was more wanting to do the attacking side of stuff.
You're looking young there.
Yeah, I wanted to do the attacking side of stuff, and Keith picked up the pieces really. People that were left out and were really unhappy, Keith would cajole and keep them going and do extra work with them. Whereas obviously we was concentrating more on the first team. But I had no doubts about bringing Merv in because he'd been through everything. He'd been a player, been a coach, been a manager. So nothing was going to faze him. And he came in the first season. We was really unlucky. More I think about that season, we went and won 4-3 at Villa, second game from the end, and we needed Wimbledon to beat Southampton. And if they had, we'd have stayed up. Because we had Bradford, I think, last game of the season, we'd have got that. And Wimbledon got beat by Southampton, so it's difficult. But then he was instrumental in bringing Dean in, Dean Kiley, because we needed to bring a keeper in. Dean came in. We brought other players in because we managed the finances very well, and we came straight back up. And then once we came back up, I think we all knew what was in tow, and we had to perhaps attack it differently than we did in that first season.
In what way then?
Well, I think the squad. I think the squad had to be strengthened. As Mervyn said about the depth in the squad, perhaps in the first season wasn't good enough. We brought in players that we thought would be around for some time, younger. No disrespect, we brought in people like Neil Redfern, who we thought was going to do us a job for a couple of years, where then, when we went up again, we brought in Ewley and people like that, who we knew would be around for some time. So we had the right partnership. As I said, Keith calmed me down a bit, Mervyn wound me up a bit, and we found ourselves in the middle. But
what were you like then, Merv? How would you describe yourself?
No, when I was coaching, I actually I wanted it to be right. And if it wasn't right, Curb used to occasionally say, "Oh, there she blows," because of my size, basically, but also because...
No, but you wanted things done right.
If they're not doing it right, then I used to get annoyed and used to have a few words
Or
to
if you
say.
meet a curly finger, go and sort Minto out.
So
I'm getting battered here today, aren't I?
it worked. It was one of those situations where all our personalities gelled, and I think that's why we were. When you look at Charlton's history, we were successful.
Yeah.
We were successful in the in the terms of what was possible at that particular time, given the financial ramifications that we all were working under.
Yeah. If I was to ask you about the table tennis league, who was the best?
Keith will always tell you he was the best.
You know, he told me to ask that question.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. We actually put what we were trying to do was to keep the players at the training ground a bit longer, and so we'd gone down the route of like having breakfast, having lunches all together, and we put table tennis, and the players loved it. People like sort of Kevin Lisby and that group.
Well, I'm hearing Brownie was pretty decent as well.
Brownie
Top
was
four?
hopeless. No.
Perhaps he should
Relegation?
He should have took it up.
What, instead of football?
It was one of those where it became a sort of focus in the early afternoon, and trying to get on was actually the hardest part because the players they really took to it. But then that sort of 4 o'clock, me and Keith used to have a little bit of a knock-up.
Yeah.
And it was very even. I'll be honest, it was very even. Keith was so defensive, though.
It's a shock.
Oh, it's so defensive.
Just playing it back all the time.
Played back,
straight back.
chopping everything back. Didn't
But
attack.
in terms of tactics and stuff, was it kind of like you had a clear picture of what you wanted, then you asked Merv to implement it, or was it all just in together?
We'll sit down, me and Merv will sit down watching the videos and the opposition, etc., and decide what way we were going to go, and we'd do that early on. I always like the week. You play on a Saturday. It used to be everyone used to have Sunday off then. Coming on the Monday, it'd be get over it, or well done, and then Tuesday would start, and perhaps Merv would take the defensive side. Perhaps it may be we were struggling set plays, a bit like now. I'd have Merv doing the set plays defensively because Charlton let too many goals in lately defensively. So Tuesday would have been there. I may have took the attacking players. We had Snods around us as well, who was bubbly and good character.
Did you ever disagree about things, and how did that turn out?
Yeah, because I'd always ask.
It's the gaffer.
Yeah, I'd always ask their opinion.
That was that was the big thing with working with Alan. He didn't want you just to say yes. There was always he wanted an opinion. He always had the final say because that was
Especially if I was leaving players out as well, because sometimes a manager can get on one, can't he? And be like seeing it not the right way. But as I say, we'll get to Thursday, and we'll be playing and we'll be training Thursday for the game on Saturday, and that's why I like to have the team Thursday, injuries permitting. And if I had that, I would then roughly they'd know what the team was. If I couldn't do it Thursday, I'd leave it to Friday. Everyone's fit. Yeah, okay, he's back. Yeah, and then I'd announce the team. So, but we had as I say, a partnership that the players respected because they understood where we were both coming from.
Yeah, I think you have to say one of your biggest things, and I said to you, was picking the right type of player, but that comes from also the management being right as well. So we
knew what sort of players we needed.
Absolutely.
And we done our own work. Like Mervyn knew so many people that had either coached or managed or even played with some of these players. So you make them phone calls and find out what the players like.
Yeah. Okay, look, we're struggling to get Mark Fish at the moment, all the way from South Africa. We did want to do it straight after your memory lane. We'll try and get him at half-time if we possibly can. So let's move on now to the Wigan game last week, where, to be fair, we started off so well as well, didn't we? And you're kind of thinking, Jacko was even saying...
It's got a really good goal, Merv. Have a look at this. It's a great cross. And Elliot Lee is needed to nip in and get a goal, to give him a bit more confidence. And we started well and we looked in control. But then, 2 or 3 minutes later? It's a really good goal. And we had other chances as well.
That sort of first half, or even first 20, 30 minutes, we looked really good, didn't we? We almost, it was a home form away from home. Ooh. And look, it's 1 win in 9 away from home, but 5 wins in 6 here at the Valley. Merv?
Here's the penalty decision, Merv. Could he got challenged there?
Yep.
Could he have got challenged there? It's a lazy bit of defending.
And it's a big moment in the game, isn't it, when you're away at Wigan?
3 minutes after we just scored.
Yeah. And you're on the back foot. But I want to ask you though, Merv, you know, mentioned there 1 win in 9 away from home, 5 and 6 at home. Why is it that a team's performance and results can be so different home and away?
I think it's all mental, if I'm honest. And it's been discussed over the years loads and loads of times. And it does come down to, I think, the player's mental attitude and its comfort.
Here's another set play, Merv.
We'd be going absolutely ape about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, without a recognised striker, it's tough for Jacko at the moment, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. What I would say though is, and it's something that Curbs related when talking about, I can't think which team, it might have been Sunderland when Mick McCarthy was manager and they were losing all the games. We played Newcastle and Curbs said, what would you do if you were Sunderland? He said, play 11 behind the ball. Play 11 defenders, stop the rot. And I think when you're in a situation where you've only won 1 in 9, maybe away from home, you do just go, well, hold on, we're going to sit in, play on the counter, make it difficult, be compact, and don't give them the opportunity to have as many chances as perhaps if you play your normal game.
If you can keep a clean sheet, then you only need to score 1 goal, but it's not always easy to do.
Absolutely.
Elliot Lee got our goal last week, and I was delighted to speak to him rather than his old man a little bit earlier. Elliot, good to see you. You were back amongst the goals last weekend, albeit in defeats up at Wigan. But how pleased personally were you with that?
No, obviously personally it was nice. I've had a few close ones now, so it was weighing on my shoulders a little bit. But no, it's nice to see one eventually go in. I think it's just been that way this season for me, really. It's a bit of combination of my finishing's probably been a bit poor than usual, and I've had ones off the line. I've hit the post. I've had offsides that shouldn't really have happened, and it's just been that way, really. But as a footballer, you keep going, and you know that one's just going to come your way eventually, and hopefully it can be the start of a run. So yeah, I was really pleased to break that, and hopefully many more can come now. But obviously disappointing on a team level.
Yeah, I mean, you were back in the side last week after sitting out 3 previous league games. How tough was that? And did you work on anything specific, whether it be tactical, technical, or even mental?
No, yeah, obviously I had a chat with the gaffer, and I think it was more of a. I'd played a lot of games, a lot of minutes, and I think the gaffer even said himself maybe he should have given me a little bit of a rest earlier on. And I think I just put in a few tired performances, and I think on Saturday I put in a better performance, and the rest, I think the gaffer took me out at the right time. I completely agreed with his decision, and it was great to see Albie come in and do well, and Gilbs come in and do well, and that's what we've got in there. We've got a great team, and if I'm not performing, then Albie comes in. If Albie isn't, then Gilbs comes in, and it's a great work. And obviously we've added Scotty Fraser and Niall John now as well, so it's great competition. But no, like it's just there was nothing really to work on. It was more just like get a bit of freshness and just help the team where I can. And obviously came in last week. I felt a lot fresher. I felt a lot better, and hopefully I'm going to benefit from that little break now.
I don't think your dad would have taken it being dropped that well. But look, I mean, let's talk about the team, because in the last couple of months, the team's performances have been very inconsistent. You know, it's incredible the contrast of home and away. How do we rediscover that consistency that we had first under Jacko, and what do you put that down to?
I think it's a combination of things. Obviously, we were absolutely flying when the gaffer first took over. And then we know ourselves that we've put in some disappointing performances, but we've also put in some really good performances and probably haven't got the result we deserve. But in football, sometimes you don't get everything you deserve. So it's about, I think it's about, we've been unlucky with injuries. If you look at our injury, we've got Chucks out now, Connor, Stockers. They're 3 massive players for us. We rely on them. They're a platform for us, and obviously if Washington is running in behind, so it does affect the way we play a lot. So. It's been tough for the gaffer as well, because he's got to juggle things around, and we've got to juggle things around. So we've been unlucky with the injuries, but listen, we know we haven't put in the best performances, but it all starts on the training pitch. We're all working hard to put it right and hoping to put a run together again. Yeah,
Oxford aside, you know well, of course, having been there on loan last season. What can we expect from them?
Yeah, they're a really good side. Yeah, I really enjoyed my time there under Carl, obviously, who was manager. I get on really well with him. They're a good set of lads, and they play really good football. They have a unique tactical style, which when we played there, I had to get used to as well, with wingers coming in and midfielders going out around the side. But no, they're a really good team, and I'm sure it'll be a great game, and hopefully one that we can come out on top.
Yeah, and just finally, we're kind of caught in that no man's land in a league where we're not going to go down. playoffs probably not going to happen either. What's the aim then? What's the target from now to the end of the season?
I think the aim is just to finish the season as strong as possible. We all know the talent we've got inside the dressing room, and we all know that we should be so much higher up the league. And majority of our performances have been good, but we've conceded set pieces. Look at Wigan, we concede a corner and a penalty, and it's just like if we can just snap out of that bit, we can get 3 points and we can be climbing the table. But yeah, like you say, we're in a bit of limbo, but we want to finish the season as strong as possible, especially going into next season. And yeah, we all want to win every game and just climb that table. And if anything, finish top half, finish just outside the playoffs. If anything can happen. So no, if we can play with the shackles off, maybe it can put a little bit less pressure on us, and hopefully, like I said, we can get a run going.
Well, whether you're getting a score sheet, assist, or just play well generally, good luck today.
Thanks, Scott.
He speaks so well, so much better than his dad, I have to say. Look, I mean, he started brilliantly with us with his performance, levelled out a bit, Elliot. I mean, Jacko's took him out the side for a couple of weeks, and he spoke very well about how he dealt with it. It sounded like very much a team player. Was that a good break for him? And from a manager's point of view, what are you looking for?
Because it just wasn't there, was he? And I just hope. We were saying for some time that he needed a goal. When you're playing in number 10, you need to make a goal or score a goal. And he'd come close, but the longer it went on. But he got his goal up at Wigan last week, a very good goal. So he looks a lot happier. So I'm expecting a bit more from him today.
How much do you feel that confidence will give him that goal, do you feel?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he needed it. As an attacking number 10, he needed it. And I think he's got a bit of a responsibility today if we're playing only one up top.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the team quickly then, shall we? One change, as we said, it's Albie Morgan in, and Mason Burstow drops to the bench. We do think it would be Elliot. He's not an out-and-out striker, so he will be playing off Jonathan Lecco, and he's going to see exactly how the formation is, because it's been 3-5-2 up until now. Let's have a look at Oxford. With Carl Robinson as manager, of course, 4 unbeaten, but back-to-back defeats like us. Only Rotherham, though, have scored more goals in League One this season. Matty Taylor's top scorer was 16 goals, but he hasn't scored in his last 3 matches. I hope we don't concede a penalty, because Cameron Brannigan scored 4, all penalties, against Gillingham in the same game. There's no mind games with him, is there? Have you seen a bit of Oxford, Merv?
Yeah, I saw him just before Christmas. Unfortunately, it was a game where they had a centre-back sent off and they were playing Rotherham, and they ended up getting a draw out of it, which was against Rotherham was a really good result. So, But when I was at Bristol City, we had Matty Taylor, and although he's only about 5'9", he's an annoying centre forward because he jumps into people, he treads on the back of your heels, he's always around you, and to be fair, he's a good finisher.
Yeah, good relationship as well, isn't there, between Carl Robinson and everybody really at Charlton. But you know that Jacko will be desperate to try and win this one.
Yeah, I think the home form's good. We've got to keep it going, and we've got 2 big games coming up today and Tuesday night. So let's start off with a win today.
That's the aim. OK, is that the rain is off. Unfortunately, Charlotte had to deal with all of that, but it looks like it's still windy outside. Our home form is great, the away form is poor. Let's hope we carry on the home form today. Let's get to our commentary team of Terry Smith, Greg Stubley and Stevie Brown.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks, Curbs. Thanks, Mervyn. And lovely to see Merv back at the club, and alongside me, Steve Brown, somebody who knows Merv very well, as the players take the knee just before kick-off this afternoon. An afternoon which, up till about 5 minutes ago, was extremely wet indeed. It's still a bit damp. It's drizzly now, and the wind is blowing. And we've got conditions that I think you'd love today, Brownie.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind these, but the players have got to deal with it. I'm not quite sure which way that wind is affecting the football, but we'll find out soon as we get underway, and we'll get formations. I mean, we're all sat here wondering how Oxford are going to set up, how Charlton are going to set up, and we think they might both go back 3s.